Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about something that I find to be very fun, and it's going to make your experience here, especially experiencing all of the desires that you want to experience, very easy and lighthearted, which is quite important in this experience because the more importance and pressure we put on ourselves, the more we imply that we don't know who we are and we don't know what's going on here. So before I even get into it, let me just remind you, you are here in your own personal experience, choosing everything that you want. And what often happens is we believe that there's a possibility that we might not get what we want. But remember, we aren't the ones that actually believe that. It's the character that you've chosen to play you here. So I generally talk about the 3D experience as a movie, but I am going to talk about it as a game today because I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of you. And honestly, it's just fun. It's fun to look at things this way. So, as I said, you're playing the game of life. And that is what this human experience is. And in the game of life, you have one objective, and that objective is to realize that all of your desires have been fulfilled. All of your desires are here and now. And notice how I didn't say your job is to fulfill your desires because they're already fulfilled. That's not on you. Your job is just to recognize the fact that they're fulfilled, they're here and now, and that they're yours. So while you are moving through this game, there's going to be things that happen. And I'm going to present this in two different ways because I think both can be helpful depending on what kind of person you are and what kind of perceptions you have. So for me personally, I like to look at it this way. So I'm here playing this game, and it is my own personal game. And throughout the game, really, my only job is to, like I said, number one, recognize that everything that I could ever imagine wanting for myself and experiencing for myself is already here and now and is already given to me. Okay? But the second part of that is to, excuse me, the second part of that is to enjoy yourself as often as you can along the way. And when I say enjoy yourself, that is not me saying that you have to have a specific set of emotions. Not at all. But what it does mean is, as this great I am, as this invisible, formless, faceless substance of power, your power is in your focus, in your awareness. Okay? And as we move through this game of life, we have two choices. We can give our energy and focus to things that we enjoy, that feel good, and we will continue to experience more things that feel good. Or we can give our energy and focus to things that don't feel good, and we will experience more things that don't make us feel good. So, hold on one moment. So, as we move through this game, there are going to be some things that show up that maybe you don't want to experience. And the way that I explain this is thoughts, feelings, and 3D experiences. So, as I've told you guys pretty much in all of my videos, there are infinite identities available to you at any given moment, and they all exist within you. But none of those identities are who you are. They are all just different characters or costumes that you can choose to identify with at any given moment. So what happens is when you choose throughout the game that, okay, I have always been the person that is broke. And now I'm choosing to recognize that because I have a desire to be financially free, and this game tells me that that desire is already fulfilled, I just need to drop this old identity of somebody that has always been broke and claim the new identity that has always been financially free. But what happens when many of you guys do this is that as soon as you shift your energy from focusing on the broke identity to the financially free identity, you are taking energy away from the broke identity. And as I've said to you guys before, all things in your experience can only survive through your energy. You, as this energy, give life to everything in your experience. And without your energy, these things cannot exist. So through this game, when you take your energy and shift it into something that you'd prefer, the example that we're using with financial freedom, that identity of being broke is going to really try to survive by getting your energy. So how is it going to do that? Well, it's going to occur through thoughts, feelings, and 3D experiences. So what a lot of you guys will do is say, as soon as I've decided that I am the version of myself that I want to be, something opposite happens, or in fact, things even get worse. So what am I doing wrong? What needs to happen? Do I need to work on things? Is there a block? Do I need to fix my subconscious programming? And I will tell you right now, it's none of that. In fact, when you see something opposite or something that appears to not be going the way that you think it should be going, I want you to remember that that's a good thing, because that identity, that character, is feeling threatened since you've removed your energy from it. And so it's going to show up in different forms to try to get you to fall for it again, to try to get you to say, oh, yep, this is who I am. And so this is why oftentimes when you choose your new identity, you almost feel overwhelmed with opposing thoughts and feelings. And that's very normal. So how do you handle this? Well, your job is to be aware of the fact that if something opposite shows up in your experience, whether it's in thoughts or in 3D experiences, that is a good thing, because that identity is dying out and at a last-ditch effort is trying to get your energy, trying to get you to acknowledge it and to agree with it. And most of you are doing this. So as you do that, as you look at something and use it to mean, I'm not doing it right, there's more I need to do, maybe I didn't choose right, maybe I didn't assume right, all of those things that, are going to come up in your thoughts most likely. When you choose to agree with those things, when you choose to buy into those things, you are now going up and down. You're choosing to say, I am this person, and then you're going back to, I am not this person. And what does that do with your 3D experience? Well, that causes those up and down experiences, the hot and cold, the inconsistencies. And so when you guys ask me, how many times do I have to deny what I see? How many times do I have to deny my senses before I can have what I want? And I am saying to you guys right now, if you are inconsistent, how can you expect the mirror to be consistent? Doesn't make any sense. So if you want to know how often or how many times, there is no answer for that. The answer is, this is the way that you choose to live your life and play the game, because this is how it works. So if you don't want to experience inconsistent 3D experiences, then you must be consistent. And what does that mean? That does not mean that you have zero emotions. That doesn't mean that you have perfect thoughts. And in fact, let's talk about these thoughts for a second, guys. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but these thoughts that we claim to be our thoughts are not our thoughts. Yes, the thoughts that are going on throughout your mind all day, every day, they're not yours. They're not your own personal thoughts. But what happens is we have identified with this idea that they are our thoughts for so long that we just automatically believe in them. We give them power over us, when instead we just need to take a step back and recognize that those aren't my thoughts. They're options that are available to me, absolutely, but I don't have to choose them. And I had a client ask me, like, okay, I understand that they're not our thoughts, but how do I stop feeling overwhelmed by them? Because they're coming in constantly. And I said, okay. So when you're walking down the street and you're overhearing all of these different conversations, are you feeling extremely overwhelmed by those conversations? And she said, well, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm hearing them, but I'm not really paying attention to them. And I said, okay, so you have the ability to do the same exact thing with the thoughts that are going on in your mind. You have the ability to do it. And the way that you do this is by first and foremost recognizing that they aren't yours. They can't hurt you unless you choose to say that they can, unless you choose to give them power over you. But the way that I have done this, and this has seemed to work for lots of people that I work with, is while the thoughts are quite overwhelming at the beginning, you are going to simply just put your focus on your breathing. Notice the breath, feel it, notice the sensations going on. If you're feeling emotions attached to those thoughts, totally okay. Recognize those things. But as you're doing that, remind yourself that this isn't you. These thoughts and these feelings are occurring within a character that is not you, that is playing you. And because the character doesn't know any better, she is going to feel the way that she's feeling. He is going to feel the way that he's feeling. And that's totally valid. But you can, as this awareness, as this power, as this energy, shift your focus. And so, like I said, when I feel overwhelmed with thoughts, and to be quite honest, I haven't in a very long time, but when I used to, I would, instead of trying to put new thoughts in, I would focus on my breathing until I got calm and until the thoughts kind of quieted down and slowed down. Doesn't mean that they were gone by any means, but they were at least a little bit calmer so that I could then, when I felt ready, shift my focus onto things that I would prefer. And for me, it's just how I am. If I'm feeling overwhelmed with thoughts, I generally like to get up and go somewhere else. Sometimes not possible, which I totally get, but that's what has worked for me. So my whole point here is the more you buy into the 3D experiences, the thoughts, the feelings, and define them as your own, first of all, and believe that this 3D world is really, truly happening separately from you, you're going to feel like this is a very difficult task or experience. But when you realize that all of this stuff that is going on is just personally happening to you, and I don't even like to say happening, you're personally experiencing these things. No one else is. There is no objective others experiencing what you're experiencing. So when you know it's only you here, you don't have to be so stressed out. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself. You don't have to worry that, oh no, I just had an emotion and now I've ruined everything. Oh no, I just reacted to something. So what? So what? I can't tell you how many times I've had an emotional reaction to something. And then once I felt over it, I come right back to the space and remind myself, I'm so happy that has nothing to do with me. I'm so happy that's not my life, because this is who I am. I am. I am this infinite intelligence that is here choosing what I want to give life to. And maybe this visual will help some of you, because I think a lot of people get very caught up in the word awareness. It's like, well, how do I stop being aware of the things that I'm seeing in my life? How do I stop being aware of the fact that I just received a bill? It's not that you stop being aware with your five senses, is that you choose to shift your awareness onto something else that feels better for you. So as a rule, I say, if your thoughts or your feelings or your 3D experiences do not feel good or are not what you want to be experiencing. So again, if it doesn't feel good and if it isn't what you want, it's a lie. It's a lie. It is trying to trick you into believing in it, into buying into it, so that it can have its existence through you. And when I speak of awareness, this is the way that I want you guys to look at it. Instead of thinking that, oh, I'm moving around, I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that, I'm seeing unwanted things, I'm hearing unwanted things, think about it this way. Truly, as awareness, as pure consciousness, you are never, ever going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So if you go on a trip, you're not actually physically going anywhere. You are shifting your awareness moment by moment by moment. So instead of thinking of it as I'm moving through the world and seeing all these things, think of it like this. I am stationary. Remember, you're not this physical body. I am stationary. I am all places, everywhere. That's who you are. So you exist in all things. You are all over. You are everywhere. And these images referring to experiences that you want, identities that you want to claim, realities that you want to experience, however you guys want to, frame this for yourselves is totally fine. It's all the same thing, to be honest. But you are having creation, which is infinite, passing through you, passing through your awareness. And based off of what you choose to stop on, and like I said, give energy and attention and focus to, you now take that photo, that frozen image, and you open it up and feed it energy to animate this life experience for yourself. So if you don't give it your energy, guess what happens? It passes through. It cannot continue to stay in your experience. Yes, is it presented to you? Absolutely. You exist in all things, so anything can be presented to you at any given moment. But what you choose to do with it is all that matters. So if you experience something that you don't like, if you have a thought that doesn't feel good to you, valid. We're here to choose. But once you recognize that, your job is to what? Take your attention and awareness off of it and shift your focus onto something that feels good to you. That is it. This is how the game works. And I did mention to you that I would give you another perspective. And maybe some of you guys will like this better. I'm somebody who likes to, get competitive from time to time. So I like it when something happens in my experience for me to be like, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. These identities are trying to trick me. They're trying to make me believe in them. And I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to do it. So no, thank you. And, I come from 5 siblings. I'm the middle child of 5 kids. So maybe that's where that comes from. But if you're not like that and you don't like feeling like you're being tricked, you can look at it this way. So as all that is, as the I am, as this you being your own creation and experience that you've chosen for yourself, you have set up these safety nets. And so because everything is neutral, because truly to I am, everything is just an experience, which is incredible. No matter what us humans want to judge it as, it's an incredible experience. You have implemented these safety nets. Why? So if you have been defining yourself as somebody who is always been overweight your whole life, okay? To I am, that's great. That doesn't mean anything. It's not a problem whatsoever. Maybe to us, that's not what we want. So when we one day choose, after all of this, back and forth of this is who I am, this is who I've always been overweight, it's always been hard for me to lose weight. Now we're choosing, actually, I've always been very healthy and very physically fit. When we choose that, we have implemented this safety net in. So when these things come up like, oh man, I've decided I'm physically fit and healthy, and now I've gained 5 pounds, what the heck is going on? Well, you've put in this safety net to give you a chance to say, hey, wait a second. You've been identifying with being overweight for so long. Are you sure you want to be physically fit? Again, because remember, everything is neutral. We give it all the meaning. So you're having an opportunity to go back and to not choose this thing that you've stated for yourself. But we know that we want this thing. So we just notice it as, that's the safety net. That's the thing that I implemented for myself, which I am very grateful for. But I'm seeing what it is, and I'm still choosing that I am physically fit and healthy. Perfect. Great. So grateful for that. So you guys can look at it in either way you want to. It doesn't matter if you change it up. It really doesn't matter. But please understand, again, that this experience is meant to be, as much as you possibly can, fun, lighthearted, relaxed, effortless, playing a game. This is why I'm bringing in this game analogy, because when you're playing a game, yeah, you might get really into the game at times, but you know that it's not so serious. You know that no matter how it ends, it's going to be okay. And that's the way that I want you guys to start seeing your 3D experience. Truthfully, this is all you. It's all set up for you to succeed. You can't fail. You really can't fail. And when you guys tell me like it's not working, yes, it is. It is, because you're saying it's not working and it appears that it's not working. So truthfully, it is working. It's working perfectly. It's working perfectly all the time, because you are reality. You are the experience of reality. So again, when I tell you guys, it's not about putting all of your energy and focus on the specific thing that you want and holding your energy and attention there. Of course, if that's a good feeling to you and you like it and you're enjoying it, by all means, stay there. But for most of us, that feels a bit difficult. And for me personally, it has the opposite effect where it feels like I am trying to convince myself that this is who I am, instead of just gently, lightheartedly, effortlessly having it come up into my mind, enjoying that experience for what it is, because I know it's a part of me, I know it's who I am, and then moving on and going with the flow of life and thinking about things that feel good to me. And why I say this is because your state of being is what matters. It's not about the specific visuals or words or affirmations or feelings or, visualizations. It's not about those things. Yes, those are all great to do if they feel good and if they put you into that place of feeling like you are who you say you are. But other than that, you don't need to do any of those things. For me, I have found that just focusing on anything that feels good to me, anything that I would like to experience, anything that I enjoy is what works best. But guys, this is everything that I'm talking about here. You can tweak to your liking. You can figure out what works best for you. So when I speak in these videos and I give you these examples and I use these analogies and I tell you how I do things, that is one perspective. That's my experience. You don't have to do it exactly the same way. I'm just sharing with you what has worked for me and all the things that haven't worked for me, which was a lot. So again, there is the one rule, as I said. The rule is to, number one, recognize that all of your desires are already here and they're already fulfilled and they're already yours. There's nothing that can stop you from having them except for you claiming that you don't have them. And even though that's still not stopping them from being here and fulfilled, it's just giving you the experience of your five senses showing you that that's what it is. But truthfully, all you're doing is hiding your desires, covering them up with this veil of really incorrect perception. So I hope this is all making sense to you guys. I really, really want you to understand that many of you have been working at this and trying and putting all of your time and your energy into this, and it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. You just want to practice being more consciously aware of where you're spending your time, where you are investing your energy. Are you spending time more often than not in places that feel good? Or are you spending more time in places that don't feel good? That's truly what it boils down to. And if it's a place that doesn't feel good, remember that you are under no obligation to think about things that you don't like. And I promise you, you don't have a personal responsibility to any of these things that appear, because you aren't the physical character. You aren't the human. When you choose to focus on things that you prefer and you enjoy and feel good to you, these seeming issues, seeming things that you don't like, must move on, must dissolve, must remove themselves from your experience. So yeah, guys, I really hope that this video was helpful for you. I know that it is going to be for at least one of you, which is exactly why I'm here. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you guys so much for all of your beautiful comments, your support. I'm really not going to brag, but I think I have the best community. I have the best community here, guys. And I love you guys so, so, so much. So yes, thank you for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.